If we close the doors, migrants will break in through the windows. That's according to European Commissioner Chief Jean-Claude Juncker, who has called for Europe to do more to end the humanitarian crisis in the Mediterranean. Juncker urging EU states to increase legal immigration and back quotas to share immigrants around member states. At least 1,700 migrants have perished so far this year in attempts to cross the Mediterranean. That's up 30-fold on the same period last year. That need for action echoed by the EU's Foreign Affairs Chief, Federica Mogherini, saying Europe had a responsibility to face the crisis. Now, for more on this, we're joined by Salvatore Parata of the International Federation of Terre des Hommes. Thank you very much for joining us this Wednesday. Now, we're hearing what we're saying there from Mogherini, a duty from Europe, a responsibility from Europe to do something. Jean-Claude Juncker saying he was disappointed by the outcome of last week's summit, which was pretty much they came to some minimum agreements. At the same time, he's facing criticism from inside the EU, from conservative countries. Do you really think he can push through calls for bigger change?
Well, first of all, we were also all disappointed in the humanitarian and NGO sectors about the conclusion of the summit last week. So we're happy that Juncker is as disappointing as we are. He can push, of course, but he cannot do it alone. He will need most probably also the push from the European Parliament, and also the push from, civil society in the different member states and the experts, humanitarian NGOs. So I don't think Juncker alone and the Commission alone can push alone, but we need all the actors around that common agenda in Europe.
You mentioned there that everyone needs to be actors, politicians, civil society, experts, all need to be united to find a solution. The scale of the problem is simply vast. Given that, what realistically is the solution? What realistically can Europe do?
It's vast and it will continue in the next months. This is very important. When the Mare Nostrum was put in hand last year, in the humanitarian sectors, we all said, but you take the responsibility to stop Mare Nostrum, and we all know that we expect an increasing flux of migrants when the spring will come again. And this is what happened, right, at the beginning of this month. So that was a huge political responsibility to stop Mare Nostrum, for instance. So Juncker has himself confessed today in the parliament that was a mistake from Europe. So now we have to come back to a new solid rescue operation in the sea, and of course we will back up that. This is one of our demands since years and since last year. But again, it's not enough. We have demanded much more, and I think the first priority is really to have a solid operation in the sea to save lives, and then secondly, a solid common hosting operation of migrants and asylum seekers in Europe based on the burden sharing among member states.
Okay, Salvatore Parata, thank you very much for that perspective.